Chapter 1. Willow House's Haunting. Extensive shadows were created over Blackwood, a tiny village, as the sun set. There were centuries-old homes along its charming streets, each with a sordid past. Willow House was one of them, an old, dilapidated estate that had been left unoccupied for many years. It was said to be haunted, and the town was constantly reminded of its dark past by its frightening shadow that loomed over it. 4 young girls who had been closest friends since they were little have always been intrigued by Willow House's secrets. Fearless group leader Emily made the decision that it was time to find out the truth. On a cold autumn evening, she gathered her pals Sarah, Lucy, and Mia in her poorly lighted attic. "We've heard enough ghost stories about this place," and Emily said excitedly. "We need to learn the truth about what's actually happening inside Willow House." Sarah wavered, darting a wary glance at the worn bookshelves crammed with mystical literature. Are you certain about this? It may be harmful." "I don't believe in ghosts, but there's something off about that place," said Lucy, the group's skeptic. "It's said to be cursed." Of the 4, Mia was the quietest. She gazed at the old picture of her late grandmother, who had always told her to avoid Willow House. Reluctantly, she nodded, understanding that her pals were certain. Trepidation gripped the girls as they headed into Willow House. The wind whispered dark whispers, and the temperature dropped as they got closer to the dilapidated home. An eerie mood was created by the moonlight painting strange patterns on the moss-covered stones. The front door creaked slightly, and Emily pulled it open. The girls warily went inside. Even more ominous was the inside. Every nook was covered with cobwebs and covered in ripped linens and dusty furnishings. As they proceeded farther inside the home, they heard the faint echo of footsteps. With a little tremble in her voice, Emily said, "Let's split up and look for clues." They reluctantly consented, taking turns occupying different areas of the house. Mia examined the bedrooms upstairs, Sarah the kitchen, Lucy the parlor, and Emily went down into the wet, dark basement. The basement had low lighting and a strong, eerie smell that I could not quite put my finger on. Emily spotted something strange as her illumination sliced through the shadows, an ancient, leather-bound diary sitting on a dusty shelf. Emily reached for the diary and started to go over its pages out of curiosity. It belonged to a former resident of Willow House by the name of Samuel Hawthorne. The notes were mysterious, full of references to unexplainable noises, unusual happenings, and meetings with enigmatic characters. The other females found some strange things back upstairs. Sarah stumbled, found a set of porcelain dolls that had eyes that seemed to watch her all the time. Lucy discovered a broken mirror that caused her reflection to take on a hideous shape. Though they had never set foot inside Willow House before, Mia found herself and her friend's images in a room full of ancient, dusty pictures. With pale cheeks from fright, the girls gathered again in the parlor. Emily's hands trembled as she gripped the journal tightly. With her voice hardly audible above a whisper, she stated, "We need to find out more. Until we discover the mysteries of this place, we cannot depart." They had no idea that their choice to investigate Willow House's secrets further would trigger a chain of events that would put their relationship to the test and drag them into a terrifying realm that was beyond anything they could have imagined. Chapter 2. Whispers in the Shadows. The house appeared to get more evil by the minute as the 4 young girls dug further into the mystery of Willow House. They were being sucked further and deeper into the mystery as the notebook they had found in the basement revealed more of its sinister truths. With her hand still firmly gripping Samuel Hawthorne's journal, Emily chose to read aloud an entry that made them both shudder. It mentioned a secret room beneath the home, where Samuel claimed to have found something quite unsettling. He described hearing voices and murmurs in the dark that begged him to delve further. Emily said, "We need to locate this hidden chamber. It may contain the solutions we need." Sarah nodded, curiosity blending with terror. "How do we even start looking for it, though?" "Not to be outdone," Lucy said. "Maybe there are clues in the journal that can lead us there." The girls pored over the book for hours, making rough maps of Willow House and decoding mysterious symbols. After some time, they managed to put together a general location for the hidden room, which turned out to be beneath the grand staircase. Feeling their hearts race, the girls grabbed their torches and headed towards the main staircase. It was a spiral of elaborate woodwork, exquisite though it was falling apart, that led to the top stories. After a brief pause, Emily began knocking on the wooden panels and listened carefully for any hollow sound that would suggest a hidden area. Emily tapped, and to their amazement, a definite echo answered, directing them to a specific area of the stairs. They tugged and shoved at the wood until a secret door opened, revealing a cramped path that sank into the shadows. Mia trembled as she clutched Sarah's arm. "Do we actually intend to go down there?" Emily nodded, her resolve unflinching. "We truly must. We'll discover the answers here, as this is where Samuel Hawthorne traveled." The girls made their way down into Willow House's basement, their flashlights creating strange shadows on the walls. The air felt to tighten around them, growing colder. Through the darkness, muffled voices could be heard, just barely audible, as if they were being borne by the wind. Their flashlights uncovered a vast room teeming with antiquated books, odd symbols carved onto the walls, and strange items scattered all over the floor as they arrived at the chamber's entrance. An unearthly force flowed across the space, and an icy, lurking presence pervaded everything. They found a gigantic, elaborate mirror in the center of the room that looked to be radiating a dark force. Emily approached it warily, as if driven by some invisible power. Her reflection in the mirror twisted and distorted into a hideous, terrifying face as she stared at it. She attempted to turn aside, but she was restrained by an invisible force. "Emily, get over it." Sarah yelled and hurried over to be by her pal. Still, it was too late. With a thunderous scream, Emily and her reflection were sucked into the black abyss of the mirror as Emily's reflection reached out and grabbed her by the wrist. The room went quiet, and the mirror took on its hauntingly peaceful quality. The spot where their companion had stood minutes ago was now empty, and Sarah, Lucy, and Mia gazed at it in dread. The first victim of the chamber had been identified, and the mystery surrounding Willow House had taken a terrible turn. Their relationship and sanity would be put to the test like never before as they were involved in a nightmare, little realizing that the ultimate terror had only just begun. Chapter 3: Remnants of the Past. After Emily was drawn into the menacing mirror, Sarah, Lucy, and Mia were left in startled silence as they gazed at the empty spot where she had stood. They looked at one another anxiously as a wave of panic and despair passed over them. Sarah's voice quivered as she added, "We have to find her." Lucy nodded, terror taking the place of her doubts. Still, how? Why was there a mirror there? Mia's mind instantly returned to her grandmother's cautions against Willow House and the rumors of evil spirits that were said to dwell there. "My grandmother always said this place was cursed," she said. "That mirror may be a doorway to another world." The other three girls turned their attention to the menacing mirror, determined to save their companion. Even though its exterior was now serene and reflected their anxious expressions, they could yet feel something sinister within. Lucy, being the clever one, dug a piece of chalk out of her backpack. She started drawing a circle around the mirror, chanting a ritual she had read about in an old esoteric book, and adding protective symbols. The mirror appeared to pulse with black energy as she finished the circle, defying their attempts to control it. A chilly breeze blew across the room as a loud chorus of whispers and evil laughter filled it. Lucy conjured up one last spell to momentarily cut off the mirror's power. Its surface was still menacing, but it no longer gave off an unearthly radiance. With a determined expression in her eyes, Sarah stated, "We need to figure out how to get Emily back." Mia took a step toward the mirror, her heart racing with a mix of hope and terror. The journal kept by Samuel Hawthorne may include hints. There has to be something in his works if he was drawn into this mirror as well. They huddled around the diary again, leafing over its pages to find any reference to the mirror or a means of saving Emily. Yes, Samuel had seen the mirror, but the specifics were murky. He mentioned a key that would allow its mysteries to be unlocked, but he gave no more details. The girls became desperate as they realized that in order to solve the riddle, they would need to dig further into Willow House's sinister past. They made the decision to look around the home for information on this enigmatic key. The house's eerie past was further unearthed by each room they visited, including references to a subterranean chamber located deep down, occult symbols inscribed into the walls, and the diaries of earlier occupants. They found a secret room in the attic after spending hours looking for it. They discovered a worn-out, dusty book within that included directions on how to make a mirror key to release the mirror's power. The recipes were intricate and called for unusual ingredients, some of which were said to be strewn all over the town. The three girls embarked on a dangerous mission to gather the elements and make the mirror key because they were determined to save their buddy. They would discover sinister secrets, deal with paranormal perils, and overcome their own mounting misgivings as they traveled through the center of Blackwood. The evil spirit of Willow House appeared to taunt them as they departed, suggesting that Emily was not the only one who would fall prey to its sinister hold. The ladies realized that their friendship and even lives were in jeopardy since they had set out on a dangerous road. Chapter 4. The mirror key set out to save their friend Emily from the dark depths of Willow House's evil mirror. Sarah, Lucy, and Mia set out to manufacture the mirror key. With the dusty book they had discovered in the attic as their guide, they set out into the spooky night, followed only by a dim, ghostly light that appeared to point the way. Their first stop was the old cemetery in Blackwood, where they were looking for a rare plant called moonshade. Its unearthly qualities were legendary, and the tome had indicated that it was a necessary component of the mirror key. With their flashlights, the girls shuffled carefully through the decaying tombstones, casting unsettling shadows over the names of the deceased. The moonshade was eventually found, its glowing leaves glittering in the night, tucked behind a gnarled oak tree after a stressful hunt. Sarah picked the plant with care, keeping in mind the folklore that disturbing it might rouse restless ghosts. Their next stop was the dilapidated, deserted library in the town, where Samuel Hawthorne had studied the secrets of the mirror. Among the dust-caked books they found while going through the dusty shelves was an ancient book called Arcane Artifacts of Blackwood, which told them the history of the mirror. The mirror was made by a recluse occultist called Ambrose Lockhart, who disappeared under suspicious circumstances, according to the book. According to Le Guin, Lockhart had etched a complicated symbol on the mirror that served as both a K and a jailer. The ladies recognized that their purpose depended on their ability to understand this insignia. As they dug farther into the mysterious of the library, they came upon an ancient, fragile map of Blackwood that had the locations of Lockhart's secret research havens highlighted on it. They sensed that the answers they were looking for were hidden in those overlooked locations, and the map appeared to call to them. They traveled into the center of Blackwood, stopping at abandoned cellars, run-down barns, and secret woods. They found pieces of Lockhart's symbol at each place, each one adding to the jigsaw they had to put together. However, the journey was not without danger. They came across eerie apparitions, ghostly murmurs, and evil entities who were intent to stop them. Nights became days, and days into unsettling dawns while they attempted to decipher Lockhart's insignia. They arrived back to Willow House, weary and on the verge of giving up, their hearts heaving at the weight of their task. They stretched the sigil over the floor in the cavern under the mansion, its elaborate lines and symbols gleaming with an ethereal light. They mixed the moonshade with other exotic herbs they had discovered while traveling to create a mixture that would be the key to unlocking the power of the mirror. Once again, they stepped up to the menacing mirror, breathing heavily. The person who had assumed leadership in Emily's absence, Sarah, held up the vial with the mirror key inside of it. The key glowed ethereally as she spilled it across the mirror's surface, and the reflection in the glass warped and twisted. A doorway opened, and Emily's voice begged for assistance from inside. The three girls entered the gateway without hesitation, hope and resolve shining through their hearts. A world of evil and darkness, where the lines separating dream and reality were hazy, waited for them beyond. They had walked into the very center of the mirror, a place where Emily was imprisoned and their only chance of survival would be to face unspeakable horrors. They would put their friendship, bravery, and commitment to the ultimate test in this world of warped mirrors. The terrifying culmination of their terrifying voyage was about to transpire, unveiling the actual essence of Willow House's sinister mysteries.